So, instant versus delayed gratification, and you guys can chime in about your own feelings about it. Yeah, is that controversial? Like, delayed gratification does suck. Who would willingly choose, like, if you know, in a vacuum, who would willingly choose to get something they want, like, later? Speaking from like an evolutionary psychology perspective, everything that anybody does for anything is an investment, whether it's time or energy, right? Like, if we think simply like lizard brain animalistically, anytime you do anything, you are seeking to get something out of that thing. You be cooking. I try. I'm in the kitchen a lot. Revenge is best served cold. See, but that's only because a lot of people can't get it hot. And I know obviously the idea is like, oh yeah, like there are certain things that are done best or are perceived best late, but that's because we've learned those things are best later. There's nothing, I think, literally in the world where from a natural perspective, you literally want it to happen later. A lot of those instances are contrived, but they are better for us, right? Like, it is better for me to get a delayed reaction to some things than it would be for me to get an immediate reaction or gratification, because it's literally just healthier for my brain. As a master's student who just sent his final thesis a month ago after starting at uni 8 years ago, delayed gratification is great, cries in the corner. Yeah, there is, I think, I actually wrote an entire story about this, by the way. It's called Seeds of Shadows. It's on my website. I believe I put it back up there. I hope I put it back up there. It's about a woman who lives in a family. She's like a 9-year-old woman. She lives in a family of people who have the superpower to make plants like grow and bloom. And she's one of the few people in her household without this power. It's allegorical, obviously, but like literally these people don't really know how to wait for anything. They're super rich, they're super powerful. And when they garden, they just make the plants grow. They have pretty much no ability to plan long term. They are instant gratification almost personified, and that makes her sick because she, without having the power, needed to learn how to garden for the long term. And through that, she gained patience, she gained temperance, she gained perseverance, and she has been wanting someone to basically like take up her mantle of what she's been doing. And I think, even though I reference myself, so many people don't have any of those skills because they're used to getting everything they want initially. I do think that there is a huge part of our world that is stacked up against young people. And when I say young people, I mean pretty much like anyone under like 50. But I also think that young people, because of the system that we've grown up in and because of social media and TV and in a lot of other ways that we've just been entertained, young people also haven't cultivated the skills to be able to meet society as healthily as possible. And it's sad that it's like simultaneously not our fault, because like we weren't the ones that created the internet. We weren't the ones that created social media. Those things were given to us. But at the same time, there is a responsibility to be taken because like we were the ones that I think became accustomed to all these things and used them in excess. No one forced us to use them in excess. I was a person who purposely stayed off of social media when I was younger because I recognized that it wasn't necessarily that healthy for me. But again, I can't put all the blame on young people for having an instant gratification mindset, because like that's just the shape that society has taken around us. Yeah, that's true about young people not having a chance to develop necessary skills to go into society. I say to myself, yeah, it's calls my grandma, it's your fault, you old vagabonds. I mean, unironically, I do think that all these things were done with the best of intentions. I don't think the internet or social media or any of our current methods of entertaining ourselves were made for the express purpose of like, you know, debilitating us and keeping us from having these very long, like standing, like human methods of survival. But I think what happened was that we just had no idea with all this new technology what it was doing to us. Waking addiction especially can hurt someone for sure. Oh yeah, and I don't even think it's just like the, you know, if you're addicted to masturbating, it's the addiction to having that be your dopamine supply. Instant gratification being good for certain things because that can train you on how to do things, right? Like, so my type of instant gratification that's really good for me is if I go to the gym and I work out and then I get delayed onset muscle soreness like the very next day, that's like my instant gratification, right? Because the gym is a long game. It is like, you know, weeks and weeks and weeks of doing something to see, you know, like a 5% increase. But the short game for me is DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, or I can feel my muscles being sore the next day and they feel super tight. And that lets me know, oh, I did a good job. Like this soreness, like this lets me know I did the good thing. If I don't feel DOMS, I almost feel like I didn't work out hard enough. And I know I can push myself more. But the actual, like I'm not doing work, I'm not working out for DOMS, for soreness. I'm working out for like muscle growth. And the muscle growth comes later and later, and that's the delayed gratification. But I think that's also because there's a mindset that needs to be developed of being comfortable with delayed gratification. I'm gonna let you, like, y'all know a little secret. Like, a lot of us just do not know how to live in discomfort. Y'all need to learn how to live in discomfort. Everybody does. It's like just a fundamental part of human society. You need to live in discomfort as long as you can do it in a way that's not like, you know, like destroying you. Because I think that's the only way to be able to push your boundaries so that discomfort can become comfort. Because if you're constantly just staying in your zone of comfort, you're stagnating as a person. And that almost like betrays what the human experience is supposed to be about. Now, I'm not saying do things that like are literally painful or destructive, but like do things that make you uncomfortable and see how you react to them. See if they're actually are as like uncomfortable as you think they are. See if they're as painful as you think they are. Talk to the people that you don't think is going to turn out well. Go to places, do things, investigate stories, you know, learn. Stagnant river grows foul. Yeah. And I don't necessarily think, again, this is controversial, but I think this is how you get away from needing everything to be instant gratification. It's through understanding that discomfort is a part of life, and it's something that you can master and something you can use for your own growth. So that's why socialization is important, even if it's uncomfortable. Yes, 100%.